Are you curious or are you judging? This is something I've been reflecting on this week, how in every moment we find ourselves in, we can be in one of two states. We can be curious, which generally means we're open, we're seeing what happens, we're just very much in the flow of events, or we can be judging. And judging is just the mind creating labels around things. I like this. I don't like the way they did that. This is good. This is bad. I'm making progress. I'm not making progress. We know how the mind creates these narratives, and it's very quick to make a label around what's happening. And it's got me thinking a lot about how every moment is kind of lived through this lens. Is the mind being active and making a story narrative around it? Or are you more open and curious? And I found, like, for myself, when I have more enjoyment of life, I feel like I'm performing at my best. I feel like life has more vibrancy. It's when I'm more curious. It's when I'm more just open to it. And to do this, to be more curious, you kind of need to get past the mind. All right? In a way, the mind is the obstacle. At least my mind is. My mind's trying to know what's best for me, trying to tell me to do this. This is good. And it's so normal. It's so addictive that we feel like, well, yeah, of course, the mind's always going to tell me what to do. It's going to create some sort of narrative. We almost say, this is me, this is my personality, this is how I think. Yet, is that true? Do we always need that narrator mind telling us its view on something? And I was thinking of an analogy that went with this, and for me, judging the moment is like having a closed fist. And a closed fist meaning like everything's tense, everything's tight, there's no room for anything new to happen. It's like this rigid structure. Whereas curiosity is like an open hand. In an open hand, it's loose, it's got no tension in it, and anything can happen from there. And I feel like for the phase I'm going through, I'm trying to move from more of a closed fist approach to life, knuckle down, get this done, achieve success, to opening the hand and where's on, there's on, whatever comes next, and allowing things to happen. And it's a strange one to experiment with, because the mind really wants to grab onto something. So if you go, oh, I'm curious about the moment, anything can happen, let's see what happens next. The mind quickly goes, well, wait, what happens if something bad happens? What happens if we don't end up at our goals? What happens if we lose something we've got? The mind quickly starts to bring you into a way of thinking, a way of judging, a way of labeling events, and making sure you're thinking about things and you're trying to protect yourself from future situations. So anytime you try to stay in an open mind, the mind itself starts to get loud, or at least it tries to make sure you're not making any mistakes. So you've got to be quite brave to live in curiosity. In one way, another way to frame this would be, when you're curious, you're living in uncertainty. All right. So when you're open to the uncertainty of life, that means that anything happen this very next moment. Anything. I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to think about what it is. I'm just here. The moment, I'm living in the uncertainty. It could be good, could be bad. I'm not going to label it. It's just the next moment's going to happen. Let's see. And nothing else but that. If you could live in that state like forever, your life would be blissful. I'm very confident of that. If you could just shut that narrative off of the mind, live in the experience you're having, let things unfold, let life be your teacher, let life take you in directions based on interest in the moments, pretty sure that would be an awesome way to live. However, the mind doesn't like this. The mind likes to create certainty. It likes to do the inverse. It likes to predict the future. How much of our time do we spend trying to predict the future? Like, yeah, but we need a plan. We need something to work towards. On some level, maybe a direction's good. But then, what do you need to do? You need to live in the moment. You need to show up. And I feel like the mind's need for certainty robs us of curiosity and being okay with uncertainty. Because if you're okay with uncertainty, that means you trust yourself to respond to whatever moments life puts you in. You don't need to cling or label or judge, and you can just stay ready for the next moment. So as I try to be more practical with this, I'm thinking, okay, well, how does that look like? It's just a moment by moment game. Is my mind judging right now? Oh, how can I be more curious? How can I learn to see this moment as, oh, what's next? When my mind goes, oh, I wonder if I'll do that later. I've got this thing coming up. Oh, yeah, I've got the gym later. Then I've got this. Oh, that's mind trying to predict the future. Right now, I'm looking at this camera, shooting this video. That's it. I wonder if anyone watched this video. Do I care? Not really. Okay, cool. Back to the moment. Next moment in front of me. So it's this game of returning to the moment and not necessarily stopping the mind from judging, because I think that's going to be there's some deep spiritual teachings on this. Like, can thought be silent? Krishnamurti's got a really good audio lecture on this. Can thought be silent? And he goes on the exploration of, can you stop that voice in the mind? Can you get to a point where you've done enough work where the voice is quiet? And he thinks you can, and he thinks he's got the point where the mind coming up with all these things, narratives, is kind of an unhealthy mind, a sick mind, as he would label it. And we can get to a point where the mind stops doing that. Now, is that realistic for most of us? Can most of us get there? I don't know, and I don't think majority could or will. So with that, we've got to go, right, I'm probably not going to spend 10 years of my life meditating or clearing everything out or getting to a point where the mind does actually become fully quiet. So now I've got to go, okay, the mind will come with thought patterns, it will judge stuff. Okay, spot that, and then bring it back to the moment. Be more curious about the next moment. If you can do that moment by moment, if I can do that moment by moment, I keep jumping between teaching this topic, but also trying to relay that this is also what I'm currently working on, currently trying to get better at. Can I just be more in the moment, more open? Can I live in uncertainty for longer without having to come up with answers? And when I drift back into creating more certainty with the mind, okay, interesting. Then back to the moment and just live in that kind of flow. So that's what I'm experiencing at the moment, or at least I'm trying to step into curiosity, to judge less, control less, be less certain, which, like I said, is a challenge for a lot of the mind, especially my mind. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting experiment. So yeah, I will keep you posted how that is going, and let me know in the comments if you guys have noticed anything similar. If you noticed the difference between being curious and judging, and how they can't really live together. Because if you're curious, therefore you're not judging, because you're in the what could happen. And if you're judging, you're not curious, because you're labeling, and you kind of shut off curiosity. So judging will be that closed fist that shuts off curiosity, shuts off openness. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys relate to this, if you're currently trying to be more curious yourself, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.